all so much for coming. Usually we have a little more time for coffee and chit-chat, but because we need to get out of here by 8 o'clock tonight, that's when the library closes. Although they did tell us, Phil, they said, you know, since you're here and everything, they said we could stay a little later.
Don't worry, I'll take it.
Okay. So we'll try to keep as close to schedule as we can. We have a lot of people here tonight who want to share some stories with you. So we're going to get right into it. But before we get started, I just want to recognize we have some very special people with us tonight. Nancy Stiles is right here with us. We have, where did he go? Oh, there, Jack Kimball. Brian Murphy, our representative, and our first selectman, Priscilla Jennis, is with us as well. Richard, what's your last name? Nichols, sorry. Richard Nichols, who is a selectman in Hampton. Did I get everybody? Did I miss anyone? No? Okay. Thank you very much for coming. And what we're going to do tonight, we're going to start out first with the pledge, and I'll ask Dick McKenney, who is one of our members of our executive committee, to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a very important topic to discuss tonight, so I'm not going to belabor things with the usual announcements. You have literature in front of you. The blue card is everything you need to know that's going on in the Seacoast with regard to Republicans for the next month or month and a half. So please be sure to read that. That other card that you have that has the green mask on it, please note these. This is a continuation of the same subject. Rosa Corey is the woman who wrote this book. Has anybody in here seen this book or read this book yet? Okay, a few of you. She is coming to New Hampshire the end of next week, and she's going to be speaking at several engagements that are listed on this card. Everything is open to the public. It's free. There's no RSVP required. Please come, because she's going to tell about her experiences with regard to Agenda 21. It's very scary. So please try to make it to those events. And I do have the book. If anybody feels they want to borrow it, I'm happy to share it with you. And now, one other bit of business. I'm going to start this around. I got a call late this afternoon from the Mitt Romney camp. They would like to have some people volunteer tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 to 3:30, to help set up for Friday morning's event. So if anybody wants to be there, I think really it's a publicity kind of thing. They really want a big crowd of people so they can take pictures and say, look at all these people here setting up. So, so I'm going to pass these around. If anybody feels inspired to go over there tomorrow afternoon, just sign up and I'll let them know that you're coming. And I think that finishes my announcements. And now I'm going to ask Jerry Gitline. Do you want to pass the pen with that? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to ask Jerry Gitline from our program committee to come up and introduce our first speaker. Jerry?
Thank you, Diane. Our guest speaker tonight, Ken Eyring, lives in Wyndham with his wife, Tindy, and his 3 children. He's a software engineer and a graduate of New York Institute of Technology. He's a co-founder of the Southern New Hampshire 912 project. He has a strong belief in the Constitution and that our elected officials should be held accountable. Most recently, his focus has been to educate others on the vast overreach of the Sustainable Communities Initiative, which is a massive federal entitlement program that is jointly managed by HUD, EPA, and DOT. Let's give it up for Ken Eyring.
Wow. I'm curious, how many have heard of the Sustainable Communities Initiative before? Great, it's more than half.
Speak up, please.
That's very encouraging.
Speak up.
Let me know if I kind of tone it down, and I'll keep turning up the volume. I'm not a Jack Kimball. He could blast the people upstairs.
Thanks, Ken.
I mean that as a compliment, sir. The Sustainable Communities Initiative is a program, as was mentioned. It's a this is a federal program. I have heard people describe this as Agenda 21. This is not Agenda 21. This is not ICLEI. Although the program has the same purpose, the same ideologies, and it actually, its roots go back to the same document that all of those programs initiated from. The Sustainable Communities Initiative is a program that's being implemented across America. In New Hampshire, it's being implemented under an umbrella program called the Granite State Future. Now, the Granite State Future is a consortium of 9 regional planning commissions. The people on those planning commissions are unelected. Now, our town, Windham, went through several presentations by the Rockingham Planning Regional Commission. Prior to some concerned citizens being involved, our Board of Selectmen was given a 15-page document. It's called the Granite State Future Partner Agreement. And it's a very innocuous agreement. It's, pretty much nothing to see here, sign it and move on. Well, when I got a copy of this, I took a look through it, and there were some things in here that I found concerning. One of these clauses, I'm gonna try to read most of the stuff from these documents, so it's in the words of the legal agreements. It says, whereas partner cities, towns, and counties within each region commit to participating in this cooperative effort by joining the regional visioning process, that's key. Eileen will, Mary Hubbard will explain that a little bit later on. Advising in the development of regional policies, identifying strategies, and prioritizing implementation measures to achieve the goals identified in their regional plan. So prioritizing implementation measures. We were told this is advisory only, this is grassroots, bottom up, that the HUD has nothing to do with this. They're funding it with some seed money, that the regional planning commissions will aid and assist with putting together a regional plan, and that we can implement as little or as much of it as we would like. So another clause in here references the National Regional Planning Commission. So of the 9 regional planning commissions, the National Regional Planning Commission is identified as the lead point of contact with HUD. So everything goes through them. When I read this clause, it says, whereas the Regional Planning Commission is the lead point of contact with HUD on behalf of the program and will assume administrative responsibility to ensure the program is carried out in compliance with HUD requirements. So I said, well, where are those HUD requirements? So I contacted my Board of Selectmen. I don't know. So Eileen and I went to the National Regional Planning Commission office, and under the right to know, we asked for those documents. We asked for the application that the National Regional Planning Commission submitted to HUD and all associated documents. They gave us one document. We sat there in the office, we read it, we said, well, this references a narrative, 25-page narrative, and that's part of the legally binding agreement. So we had to go back to the front office and say, could we get this as well? Oh, sure. So they printed that up, they gave that to us. And as we were reading through, I then went up and said, there must be an agreement with HUD. Yes. I said, well, I'd like to have a copy of that too. So she gave us that copy, and each time we said in all legally binding associated documents. So when we got to the HUD agreement, it had listed 11 other documents. which we got copies of as well. It was like pulling teeth to get this information. None of this, which outlines the goals and the structure of the Sustainability Initiative program, none of these documents were given to our Board of Selectmen. There should be a law against that. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to briefly go through the legal aspects, the things that I found concerning, and then Eileen will come up and explain some tip of the iceberg. We spent easily 500 hours of research over the past 6 or 7 weeks on this. It's not an exaggeration, and there was so much information, it was painful to whittle it down to a presentation for our Board of Selectmen, so that we didn't put them to sleep, but we could hopefully pick out the nuggets that would, awaken them and make them concerned enough to vote against this program.
Croc TV.